Turning back now to a story that we reported on earlier, President Trump is now weighing in on the death of George Floyd. The 46-year-old man died after being pinned to the ground by a Minnesota police officer who had his knee pressed against Floyd's neck. In a tweet, the president said, "Justice will be served." For more on that, let's bring in Paula Reid, who's standing by at the White House. So, Paula, what kind of action is the White House expected to take on this?
Well, today the president is expected to get a full report on this incident. He said yesterday that he believed this was, quote, a very sad event. He offered his condolences to Floyd's family. He also tweeted saying that he wants the federal government, the Justice Department, to expedite their investigation into this incident. Now, it is significant anytime the federal government gets involved in a police use of force incident. It brings a wide variety of options to charge, or a wider variety of options to charge, additional resources. It is significant, but in terms of expediting these investigations or going in any faster, it's going to take as long as it takes.
So Paula, I think we were talking to you yesterday. I don't know. We talked to a lot of people now, and we were talking about the fact that this particular Justice Department really hasn't weighed into these sort of incidents the way the Obama Justice Department had been, and that it was the sense from the Attorney General that this really wasn't the Justice Department's area. But there's something different about this case. Has the White House or the Justice Department sort of commented on why they've chosen to look into this case?
Look, the video is, you just cannot argue with that video. I covered several police use of force incidents in the previous administration and a few in this administration. I can tell you with a video like that, the Justice Department has absolutely no excuse not to offer their resources, even if they didn't take over the investigation, but not to make sure that this was something that was thoroughly investigated. There did not appear to be any mitigating factors on the face of it. You also saw these officers being fired pretty quickly, which is incredibly unusual. So it appears just on its face to be a situation in which the U.S. government would have a really tough time defending not getting involved.
Paula, as we mentioned earlier, as you know, the United States is faced now with a devastating new milestone in its battle with the coronavirus pandemic. 100,000 people have died from the COVID-19. I note that the president all morning long was busy tweeting conspiracy theories, and then his most recent tweet finally addressed those who have passed. What are you hearing from the White House as to future plans or future addresses by the president regarding this grim milestone?
It would be surprising if the president addressed this again. He has not been in the habit of addressing these kinds of milestones, either the death count from COVID or the economic toll. Well, prior to COVID, the president would consistently come out immediately after unemployment claims and brag about the great numbers, the robust economy. But since we've started seeing tens of millions of Americans who are unemployed or as a result of this economic shutdown, he rarely says anything. As you noted, it took him a day to actually recognize the fact that we had crossed 100,000 deaths, and that came only after he was criticized pretty roundly on social media and Twitter for not recognizing this. And yesterday, his Democratic presidential rival, Joe Biden, he took the opportunity to acknowledge this in a heartfelt video address. He addressed not only the people who were suffering, but he also took the opportunity to criticize the administration's response. Yesterday, the Trump campaign released an ad touting the administration's response to COVID. So it's clear that this is going to continue to be an issue on the campaign. But so far, the president has preferred to focus on his efforts to provide medical supplies, economic relief that was passed through Congress, and not on the devastation, both the body count and the devastating economic unemployment numbers.
So, Vlad, you mentioned the president's tweeting today and over the past few days, and, you know, often tweeting about conspiracy theories. We know that Twitter actually fact-checked him for the very first time when he tweeted about voting irregularities. And now the president has signed an executive order to crack down on social media and what he believes is a bias against more right-leaning politics. What does the president hope to accomplish?
Well, right now, this order is still being drafted. I spoke this morning with a senior administration official, Anne Marie, who said the White House is expected to try to curtail some of the liability protections that social media companies have. And this is subject to change. They're still revising it. But this will set off an instant legal fight because these companies are protected by a law that was passed by Congress. And as part of this law that was passed back in 1996, publishers are shielded from liability for things that are posted on these public internet publishing sites. They have been protected so far. That's part of what actually has allowed a lot of these companies to grow as big as they are. Folks on both sides of the aisle have questioned these liability laws, but the president cannot, with a stroke of the pen, undo a law duly passed by Congress. So this will likely set off legal challenges. It's unlikely the president would prevail, but it does begin a discussion. It does bring this all back up for folks to hash out whether they think Congress needs to go and amend some of these laws. Now, of course, the president's argument, he believes that conservative voices are being censored or suppressed on social media, even though studies show actually the opposite is true. In fact, Fox News is one of the most popular publishers, of course, on Facebook. While there are certainly isolated incidents that one can point to, it's not clear that any of these algorithms are intentionally or otherwise suppressing conservative voices. Important to note, the president has tweeted dozens of times since the other day when he accused Twitter of trying to suppress his free speech.
It's a good point that you raised there, Paula. The President of the United States now seeking to go after these social media companies for fact-checking one of his false claims on Twitter when the President of the United States, going back to when he was a private citizen, used Twitter to make all sorts of outrageous and false claims on his Twitter account. Never censored once. No one ever told him to take them down. So it does seem surprising. And as you point out, these are private companies, and an executive order like this opens up a whole can of worms. I should point out the president, during our discussion, Paula, has tweeted again, and this is his most recent tweet: all over the world, the coronavirus, a very bad gift from China, marches on. Not good. So again, people can take from that what they will. Let me ask you about the unemployment numbers, Paula, as the country faces these historic unemployment figures. Is the White House looking to do anything else to provide economic relief to Americans who are suffering?
Vlad, this is the biggest issue of the day. Joe Scarborough, Twitter finds that no matter what the president is tweeting about, the fact is that there is historic economic devastation across this country. And right now, the White House does not appear to be in any hurry to use its power or to push policies to help those people. I've spoken with several administration officials, and they tell me one of the reasons the White House is not moving more swiftly or more aggressively is because, first of all, they say they still have money from phase 3 that hasn't yet gotten out the door, including a couple $1,200 checks that still haven't gone out. They also say that they want to see what happens as the states begin to reopen so they can more narrowly tailor. I'm also told that anything else the White House would support would have to be focused on stimulating the economy and not cutting checks or issuing as many loans as they did in that bill that was signed a couple months ago, the phase 3. But they are considering a few things, and I think this is significant because this is the kind of thing that would really impact a lot of your viewers, a lot of their families. First of all, when it comes to unemployment insurance, there are some states that have more lengthy benefits. Some are a little bit shorter. It could run out. The White House is open to potentially helping to extend some unemployment insurance for people who are impacted by COVID, but they are not open to extending that $600 bonus, that extra payment. They refer to it as a top-off that a lot of people are receiving that Congress approved through July. They're not open to that. The president has also, interestingly, talked about a payroll tax cut. But a lot of folks, of course, Vlad, ask the question, well, how does a payroll tax cut help someone who doesn't have a job? But I am told that anything the White House will support, they want it to be a holistic approach that not only helps people who are unemployed, but also people who are at work and people who are going back to work. Another one that is raising some eyebrows is reducing capital gains taxes. Those are the taxes that you pay if you sell a house, if you sell an investment. Instantly, economists will tell you that's not going to help the 40 million Americans who are unemployed. That's not going to help people making under $40,000 a year, most of whom do not have a stock portfolio. Those are the folks who have been hit hardest. But again, I am told by the White House they want to make sure that they're addressing all aspects of the economy. They believe a reduction in capital gains could help investment and create jobs. That is not a general consensus, though, among all economists. Lastly, they are looking at some tax credits, tax deductions for folks if they travel within the U.S. In the next 12 months. Also tax deductions to encourage folks to go to restaurants. But as of right now, the White House is not committed to anything concrete. Those are just some ideas that are being batted about here in the White House as they continue to wait and watch.
All right, Paula, thanks a lot. Meanwhile, people just want to pay their rent before they can even sort of consider going to eat out at a restaurant or travel around the country. But always great talking to you, Paula. Thank you so much.